Have you seen the number 1111 lately? This number has a huge importance, and you might learn something incredible about your life now. Maybe your friend or family has seen it but doesn't know its actual meaning, and you can help them sending this. You've seen it everywhere. 1111 on your phone, on digital clocks, on receipts, and when you randomly glance at the time, and there it is again. Is the universe trying to tell you something, or is your brain just playing connect the dots with coincidences? Today, we're diving deep into the phenomenon that's either cosmic synchronicity or the world's most persistent cognitive bias. And the truth might surprise you. The first time it happened, you probably dismissed it. By the fifth time, you were Googling, what does seeing 1111 mean? And now you're here because this pattern feels too persistent to be random chance. The 1111 phenomenon sits at this fascinating intersection of ancient numerology, modern spirituality, and cognitive psychology. Let's start with raw numerology. The way number 11 is what's called a master number in traditional numerological systems. Unlike regular numbers, master numbers aren't reduced down. They carry a higher vibrational frequency. One alone symbolizes new beginnings and independence. But, when doubled, that's where things get interesting. 11 represents intuition, insight, and spiritual awakening. It's the number of visionaries and dreamers. When you see 1111, you're looking at a double dose of this energy, a gateway number, a portal of possibility. In numerology, repetition amplifies energy. So 1111 isn't just powerful, it's exponentially powerful. But here's where mainstream spirituality often gets it wrong. 1111 isn't just about making a wish or receiving some vague good vibes from guardian angels. The original meaning goes much deeper. In esoteric traditions, 1111 represents alignment, a rare moment when the physical and spiritual realms briefly overlap. It's less about external luck and more about internal awakening. Ancient mystics believed these moments were opportunities to transcend ordinary consciousness and glimpse something beyond. Not a time to wish for a new car, but to recognize your place in something larger than yourself. Think of it like this. Normal reality is a locked door between dimensions. 1111 is when the key briefly fits. Now for the psychological perspective, which is equally fascinating. Our brains are pattern recognition machines. We evolved to find meaning in chaos because that skill kept our ancestors alive. When something like 1111 starts registering in your awareness, your brain creates what psychologists call a frequency illusion, or Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. You're not necessarily seeing 1111 more often, you're just noticing it more because it now has significance to you. But here's the twist. Even if it began as a cognitive quirk, that doesn't mean it can't become something meaningful. Human consciousness is bizarre like that. Sometimes the meaning we assign to symbols actually transforms how they affect us, which brings us to the modern spiritual interpretation of 1111. Contemporary angel number theories suggest that 1111 is a E sign from guardian angels or spirit guides trying to communicate with you. It's seen as confirmation you're on the right path, or that you should pay attention to your thoughts at that moment because manifestation energy is high. This is where things get personal. I've spoken with hundreds of people about their 1111 experiences, and the stories are strangely consistent. People report seeing these numbers during major life transitions, before significant events, or when making important decisions. Skeptics call it confirmation bias. Believers call it synchronicity. I call it worth investigating further. What's particularly interesting about 1111 is how it bridges ancient mysticism and modern digital life. In binary code, 1111 translates to the number 15, which in some esoteric systems represents spiritual transformation. Some theorists even connect it to quantum physics, the idea that observation affects reality at its most fundamental level. What should you actually do when you see 1111? First, pause. Take a breath. Notice your thoughts in that moment. What were you just thinking about? Many numerologists believe that your thoughts at the moment you see 1111 contain important messages about your path. Second, consider it an invitation to mindfulness. a cosmic alarm clock, reminding you to be present. In our distracted world, maybe that alone is valuable enough. Third, look for patterns beyond just the numbers. What's happening in your life during periods when you see 1111 frequently? Are you going through changes? Making important choices? Sometimes the context provides the real message. Here's what's rarely discussed: the shadow side of 1111. While often presented as purely positive, in deeper numerological traditions, 1111 can also indicate challenges. The intensified energy works both ways, amplifying both opportunities and obstacles. It often appears before periods of significant growth, which rarely come without some discomfort. The number 1 symbolizes new beginnings, but every new beginning requires an ending. So 1111 can sometimes be a gentle warning to prepare for change, not just a cosmic high five. Another misunderstood aspect is that 1111 isn't telling you everything's perfect. It's telling you to pay attention right now. It's less about destiny and more about awareness. The universe isn't necessarily confirming your choices. It's asking you to be more conscious of them. So after exploring ancient number systems, psychological phenomena, and contemporary spiritual beliefs, what's the actual truth about 1111? Perhaps it's this: meaning isn't just discovered, it's created. Whether 1111 is a message from beyond or a quirk of human perception doesn't change its potential power in your life. The real question isn't what does 1111 mean, but rather, what meaning will you give to 1111? Next time you catch those numbers staring back at you, remember that you're participating in something both ancient and intensely personal. Whether coincidence or cosmic message, 1111 invites you to pause in your rushing day and remember that reality might be stranger, deeper, and more connected than we typically imagine. And maybe that brief moment of wonder is the real gift of 1111, regardless of what lies behind it.